Welcome, everyone. We're doing a deep dive today into a really striking set of sources, all focusing on events from June 24th, 2025. Now, our goal isn't crystal ball gazing, not predicting the future. It's more about spotting patterns. We're looking at the news through what we call a prophetic viewpoint, seeing how today's challenges might reflect some timeless truths about, well, us, human nature.
Exactly. And what's so interesting here, I think, is how you can see a kind of design almost emerging from these different reports. Geopolitical tensions, societal changes, ethical questions we're grappling with, they all seem to echo these enduring themes. It suggests that the daily events aren't just random, they fit into larger human patterns we've seen throughout history.
Okay, let's jump into that geopolitical scene from June 24th. It was, wow, intense. You had the Israel-Iran conflict escalating, missile strikes on U.S. bases in Qatar, missiles hitting Tel Aviv, casualties reported. And then there's that whole thing about Iran's missing 400 kilograms of uranium. Very concerning. Plus, the World Economic Forum was warning about the most complex geopolitical situation in decades. It really feels like things are heating up, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And, this feeling of acceleration, like a stage being set,
Yeah.
it resonates quite powerfully with some ancient perspectives. Take Joel 3.1, for example. It paints this picture of nations being drawn together, almost gathered for a kind of reckoning. It's not about saying this is that, but noticing a parallel, a sense that even in the chaos, maybe there's a larger pattern, a ripening of events, you could say.
A ripening. That's an interesting way to put it. Okay, shifting gears a bit, but maybe connected. Let's talk about truth and technology. Because June 24th also highlighted this massive issue of misinformation, deepfakes.
Okay.
It's getting harder to tell what's real. They were even talking about generative watermarking as a potential fix, trying to label AI content. It just makes you ask, how does society even function when truth becomes so slippery?
That is the core question, isn't it? This deep erosion of trust, the ability to just warp reality. And again, there's a resonance with older wisdom. Hosea 6.7 talks about humanity dealing treacherously, breaking covenants, undermining established order. This modern tech-fueled deception feels like a new face on a very old human tendency, doesn't it? Leading towards fragmentation, that loss of shared reality.
Right. That breakdown of trust.
Yeah.
See it everywhere. Okay, lastly, let's touch on some major societal shifts reported that day. Policy decisions. We saw the Supreme Court upholding a ban in Tennessee on gender-affirming care for minors, and HHS shutting down a national suicide hotline aimed at LGBTQ plus youth. At the same time, Texas mandated displaying the Ten Commandments in public schools. These are big moves driven by strong beliefs.
Absolutely. And these actions coming from places of deep conviction, they bring to mind a concept like the one in Philippians 3.6. It talks about zeal, but potentially misplaced zeal.
Yeah.
Now, we're not taking sides here, obviously. The point is observing how powerful convictions, even if well-intentioned, can sometimes lead to, well, outcomes others see as harmful or divisive. It highlights this recurring human struggle, trying to establish righteousness through external rules or actions, and the societal clashes that can result over deeply held moral standards.
Misplaced zeal. Yeah, that really makes you think about the why behind policies, not just the what. So, pulling this all together then, for you listening, what's the main takeaway from this June 24th snapshot? For me, it's seen that these events, they don't feel quite so random when you look closer. There's this consistent design you mentioned reflecting older patterns.
Exactly. I think the world's current feeling of, unrest, division, this underlying anxiety, it can be seen as part of humanity's ongoing search for meaning, for righteousness, maybe sometimes looking in the wrong places. It's really just a reminder, I suppose, of how relevant these ancient ideas still are for making sense of our world today. It definitely invites reflection on our collective choices
Yeah.
and these persistent patterns that just keep showing up.